Most people don't fall in love with stability. They fall in love with intensity. The racing heart, the late night arguments, the dramatic reconciliations, and they call it passion. Psychology explains why emotional intensity can feel almost identical to deep connection, but they are not the same thing. By the end of this, you will understand why your brain confuses chaos with chemistry, how emotional spikes create addictive bonds, and how to tell the difference between real passion and emotional turbulence. Emotional intensity activates the nervous system. When something feels unpredictable, uncertain, or slightly out of control, your brain shifts into heightened awareness. Adrenaline increases, dopamine rises, your body becomes alert. That state feels powerful. Now, consider what happens during a dramatic relationship moment, a heated disagreement, a sudden withdrawal, a vulnerable confession. Your heart beats faster, your thoughts sharpen, you feel fully alive. The body interprets activation as significance. Here is the key insight. The brain does not automatically label arousal as positive or negative. It simply registers intensity. The same physiological response can signal danger or desire. That is why fear on a roller coaster can feel thrilling. It is also why emotional instability can feel like passion. Have you ever felt drawn to someone who made you anxious, someone unpredictable, someone who kept you guessing? That pull is not random. Intermittent reinforcement, a concept studied in behavioral psychology, shows that inconsistent rewards create stronger attachment than consistent ones. When affection is inconsistent, the brain releases dopamine in spikes. You do not know when the next reward is coming. That uncertainty increases focus. You think about the person more, you analyze their words. The emotional highs feel euphoric because they follow tension. This pattern mirrors the reward system involved in gambling. The uncertainty heightens anticipation. The relief feels profound. Over time, the cycle of tension and reward becomes mistaken for depth. But depth is not the same as intensity. Intensity is loud, it's dramatic, it consumes attention. Depth is steady, it builds slowly, it often feels calm. And calm can feel unfamiliar, even boring if your nervous system is used to volatility. Pause for a moment and reflect. When you think of your most intense connection, was it also the most peaceful, or did it feel like an emotional roller coaster? The human brain evolved to prioritize survival. It scans constantly for threat and reward. When someone triggers strong emotional reactions, your brain tags them as important. Importance becomes attraction. This is why conflict can sometimes increase attachment instead of decreasing it. After a fight, reconciliation brings relief. Oxytocin, the bonding hormone, is released during emotional repair. The contrast between pain and comfort strengthens the memory. The sharper the contrast, the stronger the imprint. In calmer relationships, there is less dramatic contrast. There are fewer spikes. The nervous system remains regulated. To someone accustomed to chaos, regulation can feel like emotional flatness. Here is a surprising truth. Many people are not addicted to a person, they are addicted to the emotional state the person creates. If you grew up in an environment where love was unpredictable, where approval came and went, your nervous system may equate intensity with care. Stability might feel unfamiliar, and the unfamiliar can feel unsafe. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, becomes highly sensitive in unpredictable emotional environments. It learns to associate love with vigilance. You stay alert, you monitor moods, you anticipate shifts. That hyper-awareness feels like investment, but it is actually anxiety disguised as passion. Consider how this shows up outside of romantic relationships. At work, some people thrive under constant urgency, deadlines, pressure, last-minute changes. They feel most alive when everything is on the line. Calm productivity feels dull. In friendships, drama can create closeness, sharing secrets during crises, bonding over conflict. Emotional intensity accelerates connection. But once the drama fades, the bond may feel weaker. The body becomes accustomed to spikes of cortisol and adrenaline. When they are absent, there is a subtle withdrawal. That absence can be misinterpreted as loss of feeling. Ask yourself something difficult. Do you feel most connected when things are calm or when emotions are running high? What does your answer reveal about what your nervous system is used to? Another psychological mechanism at play is misattribution of arousal. Studies have shown that when people experience physical arousal from one source, like fear or excitement, they may attribute it to someone nearby. The body is activated, so the mind searches for an explanation. If you meet someone during an emotionally charged moment, your brain may link that activation to them. The intensity of the situation becomes fused with attraction. This is why whirlwind romances often feel profound. Travel, risk, novelty, the environment amplifies emotion. The relationship absorbs the charge. But when the environment stabilizes, the emotional spikes decrease. Some interpret that shift as fading passion. In reality, the nervous system is simply no longer overstimulated. True passion is not the absence of calm. It is engagement without fear. It is desire without instability. It does not require emotional chaos to feel alive. Intensity often centers on uncertainty. Passion centers on connection. There is also an identity component. Some people see themselves as passionate because they feel deeply, but feeling deeply does not always mean loving deeply. It can mean reacting strongly. Emotional reactivity creates movement. It creates stories. It creates dramatic memories. Stability creates consistency, and consistency rarely feels cinematic. Media often reinforces this confusion. Films and stories amplify conflict because conflict is compelling. Quiet security does not make headlines, so culturally, intensity is romanticized. Yet, in long-term partnerships that endure, research consistently shows that emotional regulation predicts satisfaction more than intensity does. Couples who manage conflict calmly report higher trust and stability over time. This does not mean emotion is the enemy. Emotion is essential. The question is whether emotion is regulated or explosive, whether it builds connection or destabilizes it. When two regulated nervous systems interact, the experience may feel subtle at first. There is warmth, curiosity, steady interest. It grows, it does not spike and crash. If you are used to intensity, this slower rhythm may trigger doubt. You might ask, where are the fireworks? But fireworks are brief by design. They burn bright and disappear. Sustainable passion feels more like a steady flame. It generates warmth without burning everything around it. Notice how your body responds around different people. Do you feel tense, alert, slightly on edge, or relaxed, open, and clear? The body often reveals what the mind romanticizes. There is a difference between excitement and safety. Both feel powerful, but only one allows you to fully exhale. Emotional intensity feels like passion because the brain equates activation with importance. It feels meaningful because it consumes attention, but attention is not the same as love. Love that endures tends to feel less like a storm and more like gravity. It holds rather than shakes. It supports rather than destabilizes. If you recognize yourself in patterns of chasing intensity, there is nothing wrong with you. Your nervous system learned what love looked like, and it learned to seek what feels familiar. Awareness is the turning point. When you can distinguish between anxiety and desire, between chaos and chemistry, you begin to choose differently. Real passion does not require constant proof. It does not thrive on emotional brinkmanship. It grows in safety, honesty, and mutual regulation. So the next time something feels overwhelmingly intense, pause before calling it love. Ask whether your heart is racing because it feels secure or because it feels uncertain. That question alone can shift the direction of your relationships. If this perspective resonated, reflect on where intensity has shaped your choices. Share your thoughts in the comments and continue exploring the psychology behind connection and emotion. Understanding your nervous system may be the most powerful form of self-awareness you develop.